Instead of doing that scavenger hunt, we would have done your lesson plan hunt. So you would have got an idea that where to pick what. So a lot of things are there. Number of periods, chapter, concept, value, life skill. See, that is also there in your lessons, in your teacher's resource. It will be mentioned somewhere. It will not be mentioned explicitly. Okay. Now, value comes with the way we teach. For example, when we did the mini whiteboard, we talked about sustainability. I talked about it. Now, if you look into the lesson plan, or if you look into the PPT that I'm displaying, it is not written anywhere, but I brought that value. Okay. So, values and concept is something that you will have to think about it when you are planning your lessons, and how will you bring that value or life skill. In life skills, again, a lot of things can come: your communication, collaboration, time management, decision making. Okay. So whenever you're doing a group work, it is a decision that you take what each member will do. That is a decision making skills. So you have to think about when you design your activities. Specific learning objectives, I think that we know from where to we get. It's there in the teacher's resource. TLM including ICT, again, that is something. What technology will you use? Okay, in what form? That again will depend on your availability. CPD to know. Pedagogical strategies, again, pedagogical strategies you'll get from your starter ideas, you'll get from your main teaching ideas. Okay, thinking and working scientifically. Then your teaching skill focus, there also they have mentioned, and a lot of times you'll find that think, parent, share is there. Then visual thinking is there, assessment for learning is there. All of that would come in pedagogical strategies. Active learning, when we say active learning, group discussion happening, active listening, active thinking, all of those are strategies that come under active learning. Whenever the learner participates in the process of construction of the knowledge, for example, you were kind of picking out words and you were giving me that what the curriculum consists. Okay, so that is active learning, so that can come as a strategy there. Okay. um Linking of curriculum with local resources, again, we talked about, I gave you the idea of the condensation part, I gave you the idea of models, all of that, and even more. When you talk about local resources, you talk about exactly what. So when you go to a garden, for example, okay, yeah, in fact, if I remember, majority of my primary science classes, I would say more than 50% would always be out, unless and until it was raining. For every little thing, I would take them. Once I was teaching, I don't know what topic, I was teaching them something about fire extinguishers, the ABC, and have you ever seen fire extinguishers? But we never see. Even I had never seen before that. When I started teaching, I went and I found out about it, and there's like ABC method of extinguishing fire, and so I took them around the school. Okay, so how you use the local resources. So make it a point to take them out and just think very very in a manner that how can you use what is available to you. You all are lucky. In Mumbai we don't get a garden, simple garden. Okay, so when we had a garden, I used to take my students, but after that the garden was converted into what is that called, that what you play, turf. Yeah. They play, no, that cricket, false cricket with that net, that is called as turf. Cricket and football turf. So it's a boon that you'll have so much of open space around you. Make use of it. Okay. You can take them to the lab, you can take them to the library. Sometimes just find out certain books that you might have for certain topics, group them and give them those books, and let them come up with the information about that topic, and tell them, okay, you note down just 5 points, whatever you understand. So there may be five different books about, just give me one topic of science, plants or planets or something. And but you have to go and read before, and you have to mark that, okay, you have to read from this to this, you have to keep things ready. and they work in a group on a chart paper, and they note down the information, and then they present it to their friends, and at the end of 35 minutes, so you give them 15 minutes or 20 minutes, they do all of that, 5 minutes for presentation, last 10 minutes you stand and you just consolidate whatever they have understood, whatever they have found, so you just summarize and then add on one or two more points of whatever is needed. So all of that can come under teaching with local resources available. So make use of those resources. Okay. Sometimes when you want to do certain physical activity, kinesthetic activity, when you're teaching force or something, I just introduce force by taking them to the playground. One batch we played football, another batch I played cricket with them, third batch I played basketball. I did not play, but they played basketball. Okay. So my students were aware that, okay, whenever in my science class, if we are going out of the classroom, we are going to have fun, but after that fun, my teacher is going to ask us hundreds of questions. So we need to be very, very consciously aware of what we are doing. So they were aware that now the questions will come after 15, 20 minutes. Okay. So then whenever they would have fun, but at the back of the mind, they were aware about, okay, let us see and observe things very, very closely, because my teacher's going to ask me questions. So after football again, I asked a lot of question about force. What are the, I did not ask what are the effects of force. Okay. So how did you stop the ball? What did you do? Or how did the ball change direction? For that, how did you do? So if the bowler bowled the ball straight, how did your ball go to the boundary? What did you do? So likewise, that is how most of the things, so introduction of force plus the effects of force was done in one class of 30-35 minutes, and the next class was only summarization and reinforcement, and then one more activity we did. So that is how, when you teach with strategies and activities, the amount of time that you need to teach becomes less than 50%. Students retention and understanding goes on to another level. You don't have to stand and teach the same thing over and over and over again, because they have given you the answers, they have seen it in real life. Okay. So use the local resources. Then why there is two times specific learning? Acha, these are objectives and the outcomes. So the outcomes are the success criterias. Okay. Plan for gifted students. Then you have remedial teaching plan. These are again linked to differentiation. Now, of course, remedial will be for students who have special needs and requirements. Okay. When we are talking differentiation in our resources, it is not for special needs or students diagnosed with special needs. For us, differentiation is children having difficulty somewhere, but we all want to take them to the same level. So differentiation will cater to that. So plan for gifted students, we have workbook which has challenge questions. Okay, so we're going to have a look at that you can take it here. Also in gifted students, there'll be in the teachers resource differentiation ideas, so you may have to pick and kind of tweak. Again, every idea that is given to you in the teachers resource is not something that you just take it as it is. You can always make changes. It's not that it is like taken to be taken on the face value. Everything is flexible. You can always make changes, add something, delete something to suit your needs and requirements. Name and type of activity. Okay. Name and type of activities, obviously you'll have to kind of define what exactly are you doing. Okay. um, so maybe you are telling them to create something, or they are drawing, maybe, or so you'll have to give a name to what activity you're exactly doing. You're doing a kinesthetic activity, you're doing an audio, or you're doing a listening activity. You'll have to list that. um, Discussion is also an activity. Assessment concept based questions. Here, HOTS questions, value based questions. So, we're going to have a look at the variety of questions and how you can frame those questions easily. Reflection, again, in your learner's book, you have those, a lot of reflective based questions are there. So, what I do is I actually take it in a very, very activity manner. So reflection, sometimes I pair them up, and the questions that are there in the learner book, they talk to each other, give answers to each other in pairs. So there is a peer assessment, which is also a strategy. So it can be self assessment, peer assessment, okay, and teacher assessment. All these are various strategies. Group assessment is also there. So when you're working in group and your group is kind of validating something, so you can write the strategy as group assessment. So in assessment, you can have these strategies, and the questions are there in the learner book. So you can use those questions and kind of design your activity. Then you can have entry tickets, exit tickets. Okay, so even sometimes if you want to check, as you said, prior assessment, so you keep a question ready and they have to write only one statement about that topic or concept. So that becomes your entry ticket. So before entering the class, they need to answer it. Likewise, you have an exit ticket. So you have taught something. Okay, you give them like a post-it, this is your ticket. You get to go out of the class only when you write one thing that you have learned from today's lesson. So if they are learning about force, what did you learn about force? Can you define force? What are the units of force? So you may list down whatever you have taught and they write one thing about it, whatever they remember. So there are a lot of strategies like that. So that is exit ticket. Um, lot of strategies. You have stars and a wish. That is also something like assessment for learning. So you have taught a concept, you tell them to write two things that they found very interesting in the chapter or the topic they've taught, and one wish. One wish is that, okay, I need help with, I did not understand. So you don't tell them to write in a negative frame. Okay, you tell them to write in a positive frame of mind, that okay, I need help with this. That means I've not understood this concept. So rather than writing I've not understood, you just frame it in a positive way, that I need help with this. That's your wish. Two stars and a wish. A plus minus interesting. Okay, what is the most I would say, what is the advantage or plus for today's session? What is the minus thing that you did not like about it? And what was the most interesting thing that you came across? All these are assessment for learning strategies. All these can come as your assessment concept based questions as well. Okay, hot questions, I'll let you know. Yeah, value based, again, as I told you, you will have to frame depending on what value you want to instill in that topic. And I actually agree that most of the science teaching has value somewhere or the other. So it's easy in science, I would say. Topic for flipped learning. So what exactly flipped learning is? Again, something I don't know what it means to you. What do you mean by flipped learning? Yeah, that means you need to give some resource in advance to the learners. Be a video, it can be a newspaper article, or you can tell them watch the weather forecast section of the news or listen to this podcast. So give creative ways in which they can engage themselves and be ready for the topic. So then it becomes easier for you. But it shouldn't be only research work and reading boring things. Okay, make it interesting. There are so many TED speakers. They talk about so many different topics. Get them to get a hands-on experience about how things are working. There are so many, I would say, education based blogs, vlogs. If you just type, you'll get things on the net. So use the latest technology because they love it. Okay, you can use chat gpt. Tell them to design a prompt to kind of produce information on this, but you have to give very specific guidelines there. So use chat gpt as a tool for your teaching. Okay, so I think a lot of parameters are addressed. We'll look at the learner's book. So how to use the learner's book, that guidance is given for the learners and for the teachers. Okay, next. No, this is something we've already done, but I'll just reiterate. Okay, all these things, getting started is linked to the what? In starter idea in the teacher's resource. Very good. Okay, so this is what I was telling you. This is what the learners will do. But what will you do when the learners are doing this? The teacher's resource will tell you and guide you with that. Okay, that is the reason I said that you cannot plan your lesson planning on the basis of only learner's book. Learner's book will have information. Also, the language is learner friendly language. Okay, and in the teacher's resource, the language is meant for the teachers. So the vocabulary, the terms you will find, that we use in current education system or in the current days. Here, no such information is given. Okay, then you'll find key vocabulary words are highlighted. You'll find all these words in the glossary part, and also how these words are used in the statement form in the learner's book. So they get the context of how to use that word in that subject. I tell my students a lot of times, especially the higher secondary students, that when you're writing your science papers, write in science and not in English. So you're not doing your descriptive writing and your essay writing and flowery language. We don't want that in science. You have to use the correct vocabulary. So you have to write your science papers in science using English, but you're not writing English. Okay, so that's the difference. So they need to know the usage of the vocabulary in their subject. That is why it is highlighted, and the example is given in terms of the statement form. You'll find the same thing in maths books also. Okay, move. In science, they need to know the names of the equipment, okay, and their usage. So we just don't show it here. We take them to the lab. Okay, they need to know the difference between probably a petri dish and a crucible and an evaporating dish. If I'm doing an experiment of salts of crystallization, so after my saturated solution is done, I have a saturated solution. Where will I place my solution to keep it for evaporation? Should I keep it in a petri dish? Should I keep it in an evaporating dish or in the beaker? So they need to know the correct use. You have to keep it in an evaporating dish. Okay, so they need to know the usage of all these equipments, the names of it, and how are they used in the lab. If I'm measuring liquids, if I need to measure 5 ml of sodium sulfate, what will I use? Measuring cylinder or a measuring jar. Okay, I will not use a beaker. So that difference they need to know. Yeah, these are standard units and their abbreviations. Simple things when we talk about scientific skills of measurement and equipment handling, they need to know how to take correct measurement. Like in liquids, we in water, we use the lower meniscus, right, to take the reading. And for colored liquids, fine, they need to know that. These are very simple things, but that is where they make mistakes. Now, using a ruler, they start from the edge of it, but they have to start from zero. These are simple things. But when you take investigation activities, they will need to know all of this. Yeah, so these are your learning objectives, starter activity, keywords, the usage of keywords. Okay, the questions also have Bloom's taxonomy. So it moves from simple to complex. So there'll be simple question based on what, okay, and there'll be higher order questions based on application analysis and synthesis. So this is Bloom's I was talking to you about. You already have HOTS questions in your planner. So when I say HOTS question, they come from here, this part. Okay. So if you go to Bloom's, if you go online, take the updated version of Bloom's, there are verbs given. Can you see? So if I want to cater to the lower cognition, if I simply want my students to recall, what sort of question will I ask? Take one topic. What question should I ask on recall? Frame one question and give me on any topic. Simple recall based question. You have taught something and you want them to recall the information. Define parts of the plant. Simple. You have taught them. It is based on memory. Okay. So these are, there are more verbs to it. If you'll research online, you'll get a lot of verbs. These are lower cognitive levels, knowledge and understanding, and these are the verbs. So these verbs help you to design your questions. If I want them to ask question based on understanding, I will tell them, okay, explain why or explain the process of this, something of that sort. That is understanding. Application: make use of this or solve this. So you have to apply that knowledge. So all these are the verbs with which you start your questions, okay, and you go to the higher order. So this is from application to analysis, evaluate, and synthesis or create. So you can use these verbs, and if you read the I would say the header here, it gives you the context, what is the outcome. Okay, so all these verbs when I use to test their remembering ability, okay, it is focusing on only basic recall and basic concepts. Okay, so when I want them to explain certain things, I am moving on to only understanding part of it. And if I want them to apply, they should be able to use information in new situation. It should be an unfamiliar situation where they're applying that knowledge. Then it becomes application based. For example, if they have learned about shadows, okay, I tell them, okay, I want you to create a story based on shadow puppets. Now, it's an application thing because when they're making that story, they have to create a shadow, okay, using a shadow theater. That's a box theater with a translucent screen. And then they have to move that stick puppet near and far to create an appropriate shadow. So they are using the knowledge of shadows, or how shadows are formed, or how we can change the size of the shadows when they're making that shadow puppet or shadow story. So that is application. Okay, so you're applying it to a new situation. Analysis: you should be able to bring connection, relate ideas, and analyze things. So it is always in comparison. Analysis actually means you should be able to think from all the perspectives. That is analysis. And then you evaluate. So evaluation is you have a pros and the cons. You identify the pros and the cons, benefits and disadvantage, and then you take a very, very informed decision, or you make your own opinion based on that knowledge. Okay, and create is creating something new, not based on the repetition or things that have done in the past. So you can use these verbs to create your higher order questions and your lower order questions. So it moves from low to high. Okay, it is called as from lots to hots. That is how it moves. Next. So all your questions in your learner's book and your workbook are designed keeping Bloom's taxonomy in mind. So you'll have lower order questions also, and you'll have higher order questions also. So your focus, practice, and challenge. So focus is generally recall and understanding based questions. Your practice is application and analysis based questions. And your challenge is what? What is CL5? After analysis, evaluate. Evaluate and creation. So challenge questions are based on evaluation and creation, which is already there in the workbook. So your higher ability students can, you can give this, you can just kind of print this one question, give them as a group task. See, how you present the information is in your hands. Here they will not tell you, it's a workbook, so they'll only give you question and answers. But how you make use of those question and answers is up to you. So if you have a higher ability learner in your class, 3 4 learners are there, you want to focus on the other students, you give them this task, let them solve in groups. And by the time you're addressing other students, you finish with them, and then you come back to these students and see where they are. Okay, so you can have differentiation in your classrooms. Yes, go ahead. This is an additional support. A lot of students struggle with English as a language because English is not our mother tongue, right? So in fact, in my class also, I've found that students have very good understanding of science. As far as I ask them verbally, they answer fabulous, they have a good thought alignment and process. But when it comes to writing, it is challenging for them. They're not able to write. They can write one word answer, but if I tell them to write a descriptive answer, they're not able to write. Okay, so we need to help these learners, and this is an additional resource for them, that is the developing language in science. And there's additional lot of practice worksheets and exercises are given to help them with the use of English in science. Okay, next. So any questions regarding any of the resource components, that is the teacher's resource, the learner's book, and the workbook? See, wherever there is, I cannot give you like how do you say that? There's no standard way. Okay, there's no mandatory way. Also, I can only share what I would do. Okay, because there are too many questions and less time we have. So one word answer, I would make them do it in the learner's book itself. Okay, but yeah, if there are descriptive answers, that they can write in notebook. That is what I would do, especially in my primary classes. I would not make them write a lot. I never liked that. So small answers they can write in the learner's book. Yeah, we move on. Move on. Move on. I think we don't have time for that. So we have already seen their lesson plan. Now, in this part of the section, no, what we have is there's a template that you have in the teacher's resource. I mean, that's up to you if you want to use it. But all the headings, no, in the template is aligned with the vocabulary that is used in the teacher's resource. So it becomes easier for you to kind of just pick it up from the teacher's resource and add it here. This is the empty lesson plan template that is given to you in the teacher's resource. It's completely optional if you want to use it. Yes. Wait. Just go through this and see if you have any questions and if you have understood this very clearly. I want you to read this very, very carefully. So you understand where to plan the lessons from. You may raise your hand if you have questions. Any statement that looks we have not touched or we have not addressed? Anything that looks ambiguous or not clear? Yes? Yeah, so you will have to see how you can help that learner. When the child is saying so direct, it is very good for us. Okay, so you'll have to give support. Does the child, you want to make him sit extra during an art class or a PE class and clear his doubts? Okay, and see where exactly the doubt is coming from. Try to understand and provide help. If explanation doesn't work, you give them some video links, you give them some resource that he might want to go back and make use of it to better his understanding. So you'll have to help him with whatever and whichever way you can help that child out, definitely. Mm. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, personally, I mean, see, it has to go hand in hand. So you need to plan in advance. So if you feel that you've got a wonderful ICT resource, so you plan your session like that. That okay, you book your whatever place is there. You book it in advance. You show it to them. Tell them to reflect. What have they understood? I would never give them an answer. I would never show them a video and tell them, okay, we have learned this. No. From the video, my strategy would always be. It used to be a video based lesson. So from the video, they will note down their understandings, and when we come back to the class we will discuss that out. So it may be a group activity, it may be a pair activity again during the video observation also. So I may do it at the beginning where I've not taught them anything about it, and they just watched a video and they just note down their understanding. And I've done that right from grade 2, grade 3 onwards. Okay. So let them do it in their own simple way. It's not necessary that they have to write paragraphs about their understanding. So even if they're making out and noting down keywords, it's more good enough for us. and then you pick the lesson from there. But if you teach everything and then one day you show all the videos, I don't think so it makes any sense, because they cannot relate. How much will they remember? And it will not have an impact. Only you should show them what they are learning and what they are, gaining knowledge about. So you have to pair it like that. That is up to you. That's how you do it, is absolutely up to you. But it has to enrich the learning. It shouldn't be done just for the heck of doing it. It has to end. Of course. But what happens with primary students is that they love animation, and I would always uh, believe, it's my belief, that rather than me standing and teaching, see, most of us will doze off now. We are all come back after lunch, having rice and lovely rasam. I loved it. Okay, so nobody has lot of attention span, including us, and only listening, after I think 15-20 minutes, your brain shuts down. So that visual, auditory, and animation will always help them to retain better. Okay, next. So this is again the section of the lesson plan template, and the headers are similar to the headers given in the teacher's resource. Move on. Move on. No. Wait. Go back. Go back. No, 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 no. Okay, so reflection, self, and peer assessment. So you'll find a lot of opportunities in the learner's book where the students can reflect. There's self assessment opportunities. Again, that is reflection. So self assessing. So there are questions in the learner's book. So again, I'm saying that not every time you'll be able to do activities, and not every time you'll be able to do reflections like this. But yes, you'll have to pick and choose and do it on a regular basis. It should be a part of your regular teaching and learning, where they are able to reflect and talk about their learning. Only then you'll understand that clarity of what you're teaching is there in them or not. Go ahead. Okay, so how are we doing? See, these are strategies here. This is there in your learner's book. As a group, choose one of the faces as your answer to each of the question. Now, as a group, it is there. What do you think it will make a difference? Why are we doing this as a group? And they just have to draw a smiley for each. Now, they have learned that there's an investigation part. Okay, there's an investigation that is happening before this. They're doing an investigation where they're talking about prediction, they're talking about variables. Okay, in lower secondary, they're talking about using and choosing the correct, what material will they use, what equipment will they use. They can do that only if they know the scientific equipments, that I will take measuring jar if I have to measure the volume of a liquid. They should be able to choose. Okay, so how does this activity work well if you're working as a group? I'm telling you that this activity works well if it is done in a group. Why is it that? Why do you think? Zoned off? There's no space. Otherwise, I would have actually, made you move around and do a lot of things. But I don't want anybody to get hurt here. Any ideas on that? Thank you so much for that. Absolutely. You know what? For each question, they will have to agree to come up to one smiley face. So if they are choosing a smiley, that means all the members in the group should be able to make prediction with reasons. So if I am not able to do it, that person or my member, my buddy in the group will have to explain it to me, how to make a prediction and how to give a reason. So at the end of it, I will also know and I will learn from my buddy. So that is how this group activity will work well. So if somebody don't know, they will learn from their partners. Okay. But the thing that you have to instill in your learners is being honest and being open to learning from each other. and not naming each other that I know it all and he doesn't know and that person doesn't know anything. No, that should not happen in your classroom. Next. This is again, how are we doing? This is self assessment reflection question. So, this again, as I said, you can do this as an exit ticket. So, they answer this and they go out of the class. So, they give a specific answer. What did I do to help my group in the practical task? So, each one will give one specific answer. It's not just a tick. What did you do? So they answer this and they go. It can be an exit ticket. It can be a group activity. The way you want to do it. Activities is completely your way of doing up in the class. Did we work together to plan and carry out the investigation? These are all reflective questions for the learners. So it is not only that we have to reflect as teachers when we are planning and executing our ideas, but it is also for the learners to learn how to reflect and know where they are and what help do they need with their own learning. Next. So, if you see the reflection part of the learner's book, you'll find variety of strategies. So, somewhere there was group work, somewhere there was individual task, somewhere it is only a checklist. Again, various strategies are being used to bring out reflection and self assessment. So, look what I can do. I can describe the parts of the circulatory system and their functions. So I will tell them that for every question, you have to give a very specific answer. It's not only about ticking it. So you speak that answer with your partner and then put a tick. Or your partner will put a tick. So it's going to be a peer assessment. So they talk to each other and it will not even take 5 minutes. Your end 5 minutes, you can do that. Where they're actually answering it and just not putting tick blindly because that way everyone will put all ticks. So then there is no point. Next. Next. All this we have done in the teacher's resource. Next. No, next. We'll do the unit walkthrough. Wait. No, go on. No, next. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this slide. Yeah, you remember I told you to remind me of misconception. That was there. Nobody reminded me. Wow, misconceptions. Do you come across misconceptions? What do you do? Can you give me an example of misconception that you would have come across in science? Hmm? Yeah. So students come up with, they have so many different ideas about things. Yeah.
While teaching respiratory system, I asked the question using these much models, what do you think? Whether the lung is open like a balloon or it's like a something solid also there? It's like a balloon or it's a transparent. What do you think? They said it's like a sponge or a balloon. Is perfect. They said most. I asked them to raise their hands, and most of them answered it's a balloon. It's like balloon. Only few were answering and they did not. Then finally, from the cover, I took it's like a sponge. Then I explained that's a misconception. It is given in the teacher resource.
Right. Great. Exactly. So you use misconception to check their understanding about clarity of the concepts. Okay. Do they have that clarity or not? So you use misconception as your teaching strategy. Okay. So that is why those misconceptions can be used in variety of ways. This is one way in which I have used misconceptions in my classroom. I have taken this from the teacher's resource. Okay, so these are the characters. They are saying this, and Zoya is saying this. This is the way Wayne's. This was a part of the training activity that I had done with other trainers. But here, I had stopped here for students and I had asked them who is saying correct. Is Zoya correct or Mark correct? Why do you say so? So they had to discuss that in the group. Okay, and one part is the misconception. So I had turned that into a group activity and they had to come up with their reasoning with respect to whatever they select, whoever is correct. Okay, so as I am saying, misconception is a wonderful way of doing your assessment for learning, check for understanding. So when you said higher order questions or assessment based question, misconception can be a way where you can actually judge whether the concept, whether you've taught is very very clear to them or they are not clear with it, and it gives you a feedback that whether you have to again teach that or not, and you have to change your strategy to teach it. Next, exit tickets. This is just one example. I wanted to do this activity. I don't know if we may have time. Next. We'll see if we get time at the end. Give one, take one. This we do it with the students also many a time. Okay, so they have learned something about the concept. They form concentric circles, and in a particular limited time, probably you give them 2 minutes, 3 minutes, they go with a sheet of paper and they collect as many information as possible from different learners about that topic. So that is how they learn from each other, and it's a good way of doing a recap of what they've taught. And you don't have to do a recap or a recall. It's just a simple strategy where they get to learn a lot of things about that concept, which they might have missed or they might not remember about it. Next. This is again one strategy, learning contract. Okay. So to demonstrate what I have learned about, so whatever topic you want, and they can select any of it which they want to do to demonstrate their learning. Okay, and they show what they've learned, whatever they're comfortable with. So this is again a differentiation strategy, differentiation by means of the product. So the product is going to be different. That is, the way they present their understanding will differ. Somebody may write a report, somebody may choose to demonstrate with an experiment, somebody may choose to develop a computer presentation, somebody may build a model, somebody may write a song or shoot a video. So you're giving a free way to demonstrate their understanding. And they'll be very happy to do that other than just writing all the time. Okay, so this is again a differentiation strategy. Yeah. Yeah. So now we will be doing this. It's a unit walkthrough. We've talked a lot about practical skills and scientific investigations. So we will be doing a differentiation strategy here where the primary teachers will follow this. Just go on. Okay, so we are targeting this gases. Okay, we will be doing this element of it. Think like a scientist one, make a gas, change. Garcia. Okay, so yeah, go ahead. These are the learning intentions and objectives. So when we start, okay, we have a starter activity. So we'll do that. We'll just see how it works. Okay, so this is what is given in your teacher's resource. We're just going to model it out. So you have to use your mini whiteboards. I want everyone's mini whiteboards handy. And I want you all to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and write true or false quickly. You have got only a minute to do it. You have to write true or false for all these 5 statements. In your mini whiteboards, big bold handwriting, and the other group members will see which is right and which is wrong. Quickly, a minute. Only a minute, okay? The group that is done can raise the thumbs and just indicate that they are done. Okay. All right. Time's up. How many thumbs up am I getting? Okay. Others quickly. Okay, let's start discussing. The first statement: solid, liquids, and gases are made up of particles. All your mini whiteboards up for that. How many of you say true? Show me your thumbs up again. How many of you have written true? Is it all or none? All. Wow. Very good. Statement 2: a solid has a fixed shape. Your mini whiteboards up, and partners in the group at least check whether your partners are doing it correctly or no. And how many thumbs up for that? Is it true or false? How many say false? Thumbs up who say it is false. Solids do not have a fixed shape, ma'am. Okay. There are exceptions, but here we're not talking about exceptions. It has a fixed shape, that is true. We can hold a liquid in our hands, true or false? Chorus answer, I don't understand. I want the mini whiteboards. The partners will check. How many of you say true? It is not sometime and all. Don't go to that extent right now. We can, you're right, for some time, of course. No, but it will start leaking. You can't sustain it, right? Huh, you can, yeah, you can hold it, but you cannot store it. Very good. Absolutely. Okay. Gas is not a state of matter because, oh, we cannot see it. False. How many of you say true? Very good. All science teachers. A solid becomes liquid if we heat it. Any false? Okay, great. So this was just a warm up activity before we do the experiment. Go ahead. Okay, so we are going to do this. So see, if you read, I have not used the starter activity which is given in the learner's book. I used and I chose to do the starter activity which was given to me as the second activity. Okay. So as you can see, this activity is not there in the learner's book, but I chose to do it. So it's completely on me. Fine. So now what you have to do is that we have already done next. We will be doing this experiment, all right, to cater to thinking and working scientifically. So we're going to think like a scientist when we are doing this. And what is our objective? We are making a gas, and what is our intent? What is our intention? We have to learn. See, again, I'm just kindly taking your attention to the learning intention here. What is it saying? Record results and observations in drawings and tables. And what are we going to do? We will be doing an experiment. What I'm trying to focus here is the focus is not about only doing the experiment or the investigation, but the focus is on how will you record your observation and results in the form of a drawing and table. That's the outcome that I'm looking out for. So after you do your experiment or while you're doing your experiment, you have to record those observations in the form of drawing and table. That is the task. So the task doesn't end at you doing that experiment, but you have to record it. Is it clear? And why I'm doing this is 100% of the times when we are doing investigations, we are focused on only the experimentation part of it. We don't go beyond it. But in terms of scientific skills, we've mentioned so many of them. Okay? So many of them are part of development of scientific skills and attitude. And that is how we develop one step at a time, right from primary stages. So it's not only about doing investigations and experiments. Okay, it is beyond that. Okay, so now you have to read it. I think we'll not do the chromatography one. It has, I think you can do the chromatography also. I'll see. So this is what you already have, these resources. What I want you all to do, nobody will start unless I finish my instructions. I'm going to give you a minute. I want all of you to clear your materials, and your experiment material should be in a very, very clean part of the table. A minute, quickly. Clean your tables. Nobody will start. Nobody will touch the material. You will only clear your tables. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the last number is 1. Pens down, pencils down, hands down, everything down, and tables clear. All groups ready? Thumbs up. Whoa, thank you. Next. Again, nobody is to follow, but now I cannot put two instructions together. And I don't think so. We have time where we can do this and the chromatography later. So we will do this one and see if we have time, then we move on to the chromatography. But you know the learning intentions. How many of you are clear with the learning intention of this investigation? How many of you are clear with it and you do not have doubt? What is the learning intention? Can anyone repeat? Thank you. So that's the task. This is your procedure. Okay. This part you will do. So this is your learning outcome. This, draw a picture to show what happened when bicarbonate mixed with the vinegar. Label the liquid and the gas. Write a sentence to describe what happened when you mixed bicarbonate of soda with the vinegar. So you will be doing this not as teachers, but you will do this as students. Okay? And your task is drawing and recording observations in the form of drawings and tables. Can we start? So keep the chromatography away and start with your experiment. The procedure is here. Okay? Follow the procedure and the steps. And keep your chart papers ready. Yeah, here the balloon is not there, but use the balloon. Wait. What will happen is now, I don't think so. You'll be able to use balloons on the glass, right? Yeah, so please use the, drink one bottle of water. We need to keep ourselves hydrated at all times. So drink one bottle of water and use the water. Yeah, exactly. The glass is for the chromatography. Use the bottle. Now drink, divide, drink two sips. Keep yourself hydrated and awake. Now follow it. And how will you use the balloon? Balloon is the addition. It's not given in the procedure. Balloon is the addition. Now I want to see how are you using the balloon. Let us see. Use the bottle where you will add the chemicals. Okay. And how will you use the balloon? Do it. I don't know. Use the chart paper to record your observations. Yeah, fine. That their choice. I mean, your choice. If only one person wants to do, two person wants to do. So if two people want to do, drink one bottle of water. Oh my god. Okay, teachers, very excited. Oh, we cannot read the question, yeah. Don't forget, as soon as you see the balloon, yay! But oh, who's got the biggest balloon? Let me see. Who's got the biggest one? And see others. See, turn around. Show your balloons up. Oh wow, anybody who can compete with that balloon. Oh god. Okay. Ah, very little. Okay, teachers. Oh, that's a nice size. My god. All blasts happening here. You are actually behaving like students, huh? Actually behaving like ones. Wow. Okay, time's up now. Thank you. Let's come back. Be careful, be careful. Ah, if you get too much excited, that will only happen. Be careful. See, this is something. Okay, teachers, now stop. I think you can do it later again. So much of excitement. Wow. All the sleep has vanished, disappeared. Now nobody is sleepy. Now they will have to do it, no? How much? Do it, the gas is not so much of it, but where's the salt? Buzz, leave it. Nothing will happen. Leave it. The salt is less. Now let it be. Let it be. We all forgot the intention by the way. It was not only about blowing up the balloons. Where is the observation? Where are your drawings and tables? Come on. So draw a picture to show what happened when the bicarbonate of soda mixed with the vinegar. Draw. 2 minutes. Teachers, 2 minutes for the drawing part, and write a sentence to describe what happened when you mixed the bicarbonate of soda with the vinegar. 2 minutes. Quickly. Start with your recording and noting down your observation. Draw directly. Pencil. Draw directly with the colored pen. Sketch pen. Now it is looking. Okay, we'll go. Read the question and then answer accordingly. Huh? Read the question. It is there in your page number 14 in the extract also. If you can't read it from the slide, page 14 of your extract. Page 14 of your extract. One more minute. Wow. Wow. Wait. I'll give one more minute to others. One more minute, quickly. Read the question from page 14 in the extract. Done? Okay. Alone is doing. And then labeling is also left. And the time is done. Over. Wow. One more minute, extended time. Last 1 minute. Last 1 minute. Come on, finish with the labeling or whatever you want to write. Done? Very good. Okay, now pens down, everyone. And I want all the group members to stand facing each other and show your observation and recording to everyone. So, all of you will stand together and show your work so that all of you can see everyone's work. It's okay, it's okay, it's fine. But stand it in a way that everyone can see your work and not me. All your colleagues should be able to see the work, each other's work. Please see each other's work. See how they have recorded the observation. Is it which one is the best way? Which group has done? Yours is not seen. Or maybe two people can stand and rest can sit because it is obstructing. Okay, which one? How many of you would want to vote? Which one do you think is the best representation of observation? Which group has done the best work? See everyone's. Who is getting the maximum vote? Any one vote, any one work, exemplary work. Okay. How many of you is voting for them? Okay. Oh, good majority. Nice work. Very well done. And any other work you would want to vote for? Anybody else? Show your chart up. So we have so many other contenders. What do you think? That group, that group, that group. Which group do you want to vote? Elections have just gone done. This one? Okay. So this one comes second. Very good. Well done. Thank you, everyone. Hands up. Both hands up. Hands on the head. Hands down. Thank you. Yes, that is how it should be. So this was just one way of showing you all that how different students can do and present their work differently. And recording, when we say recording your observation, it is not always in the form of the table. It can be in the form of images. It can be in the form of photographs. It can be in the form of a drawing. Okay, it can be recorded as a video. So whenever we do any investigation and experimentation, recording is also a skill, recording your observation. And you have to tell your students and teach your students that it can be done in a variety of ways, not only the usual table method. Okay, so this was one way by which we touched upon one particular skill in scientific inquiry and thinking like a scientist, and we focused on recording of observation skills. Okay, so our focus was not on doing the investigation. Could you see yourself that how excited you all were? This is what happens when you do it with students and allow them to do it. And science is all about this. So rather than teaching them in a very stale manner, bring such lively things in your classrooms. Okay, yeah, next. I think we've done all of that. These are all guided assessment questions. These are plenary ideas which has been taken from the teacher's resource based on the experiment and investigation that we've done. Okay. So after doing all of this, you talk about gases, the property of gases, and you just allow them to reflect. Next. I think we've done all of it. Just straight away. These are again different level questions on states of matter in the workbook. I think we'll just go straight. Let me see if there's anything. So we're not doing this paper chromatography. Okay, this is also one strategy and activity that is given in your teacher's resource. Mastermind. So after you do a particular investigation, you can call a particular group or child and ask them certain critical thinking questions about the experiment and investigation. That is mastermind. We have talked about projects earlier on. Check your progress is there in your learner's book. Okay, practice for your assessments and tests or different types of questions are given here. You can see here there are graphical questions also based on data and statistics. Okay, so nowadays a lot of emphasis is there on data because it's a separate professional careers that have come up out of data. You have data science, data analytics, right? So all of these. So that is why importance of data, reading and interpretation of data has increased many folds. And in your books, you'll find dedicated questions based on data. So it is very, very important that students have these data interpretation and data plotting and recording of data skills. Oh, this was workbook based on. I think that's all about it. So with that, we come to an end of today's session. So if you want, I can give you just 30 seconds to reflect on the practical aspects of science that we could cover today. Okay, just think about it. From now on, how will you plan your practical sessions apart from just demonstrating an experiment or something like that? You have to go beyond it. So think on those lines. And after this, I think my colleague Gosia will talk about the digital platform that we talked about early on, Cambridge Go. Okay, what all things are there on the Cambridge Go? We just talked about it, but she'll show you how to log in and how to get your resources there. Thank you so much. Yes, Gausia, you can take it. Thank you. Please reflect and note it down. Otherwise, you will not be able to go out of this room. You have to give your exit slips. So, one thing that you've learned from today's session, and also have a look at your questions. By the time she's explaining it, you have written a lot of questions, right, on your tables. Read those. And if there are any which are yet to be answered, please ask them. This is the time. Till the time she is logging in, one learning from today's session, each group, only one, quickly. Come on, which group is going to be risk taker and take that risk to share that knowledge? What is one piece of learning that you would want to take away today? Quickly, anyone? Sorry, somebody said something. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Shall I, ma'am? Uh, while in this session, ma'am, ma'am gave in between in the session she gave a pass and made us to think about the ponder over the things which we learned so far in that short segment, and she asked us to take a pass and think and question and just reflect on your learning, she said. So this reflection process anyway, it's a part of Cambridge curriculum in the learners book we have. That's one how to implement it, that I practically experienced today, which is also very useful. In that past time, I what chewed over the topic which is taught by ma'am, and I took the notes of it. So it's of great use. And also in the beginning, she defined the ground rules which should be followed in the session. That's what our in charts are also always say. First, you make a rule in the class, pave the way, make the road, then the journey is easy. So you make the class ordered or well informed with the rules to be followed, then the teaching is easy, the learning will happen. Same thing, I again I understood that, and I saw that how it is helpful in the complete learning. These were the takeaways I have.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am,
much.
for the wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Anybody else who would want to add on? Anybody? That means should I assume that there's no learning? Huh? What should I assume?
Ma'am, thank you for the today's section, ma'am. In this section, I have learned many things, and
I think we are still in the session and we are still following the ground rules. Yeah? Thank you.
you have said many points, ma'am, including that models and all we will use for abstract ideas. It will be more useful and beneficial, and activities can be given in any ways, but we are the activity should be in the objective laid way.
Thank you
It
so much.
was very beautiful thing, ma'am, and in within the section I had one thing to tell, ma'am, but I didn't able to communicate that way. You said how plant cell and animal cell we working model is useful. You asked that with that model we can know about the things, ma'am. Like in animal cell there is rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, but with the words they can't know, ma'am. By drawing or making it they can know that, and the difference between the things and all we can know with the, ma'am. That I thought of sharing it, ma'am. That's all. Thank you for the section.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else who would want to add? Then we move on. Okay, you got it? Got it? Working? Is it working?
Thank you so much for this wonderful session, ma'am. Really, we have learned many things from your session, ma'am. And first of all, I learned the 6 keys of Cambridge University: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking, learning to listen, and social responsibility. And before coming here, I don't know what is mean by plenary ideas and background, language support, and that maintain.
Main preaching
Uh,
ideas.
so I don't know what is that, but today I attend, no, so I got the point. In what way you have learned for us, the same way this year we will try our best to our children.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wonderful to know. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. Today we learned many things, ma'am, like Bloom's taxonomy, projects of 3D models we learned, curriculum of science context. Think like a scientist, it's most, uh, yes, ma'am. And scientific skills, ground rules we learn, ma'am. This is more interesting, ma'am. Thank you for this session.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. And I hope whatever you've learned, at least start implementing small things in your classroom. Okay. And this is what Cambridge Go looks like. So you can go on adding. If you see add new resources, you'll have a login ID and a password, which you'll get it from your heads. Once you get that, once you log in, you come to this page. Then you go to add resources, and whatever grade you're teaching, that resources you can add. Okay. So, for example, if I'm teaching Cambridge grade 7 science, so I just click on that and I add. If I'm teaching grade 4, okay, and then we'll see when it comes back. So there are a lot of resources. I just wanted you all to show. Okay.
So teachers, so the Wi-Fi started to work now. We can quickly go through Cambridge Go website. How many of you already know this portal? Okay, some of you are right. I'm sure all of you have your own username, user ID, and password for this. When you log into this, you will see all the all the resources for every single subject that you have towards your left side here. You can select the one that you want to, and then you can add new resources here. You can select the one that you want to open. I want to open, let's say, lower secondary science. And when you open that, you will see every single resource that you actually looked today. You will see your learner's book, you will see your workbook here. All these are digital versions. The same thing that you have as a hard copy, you will see as a soft copy here. Then you will also have teacher resources. You can take them, you can print them and take them to your classes. And you also have answers for your learner's book and the workbook questions. Yeah, so you can go through this. You can also download resources directly from here. Download all the resources. If you want to download only the introductory material and tests, yeah, all these diagnostic tests that you discussed today, and every other test that you have, then glossary, everything is in printable format. You can even print it directly and take it to your classrooms, right? So likewise you have for every single subject, both for primary and upper secondary and beyond. Yeah. If you have any questions over this, you can ask us right now. But yes, as Miss Vaishali said, this is a great resource, and you can take it, you can print it and directly give to your students, make copies of it. You need not create new resources, they all are there for you. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
No questions? All questions answered? Then we'll say tata bye bye. Okay. Yes. Uh, Actually, here we had a digital content, but it is a paid resource. It's a separate paid resource. A lot of online resources, and I mean, I cannot actually propagate here on this platform like that. But there are many available. Any other questions? When he's talking about the digital. Yes. So, so for the same topic, if you have more than one worksheet, it is A, B, and C. For the same topic, there's no difference. It says that it belongs to the same topic. So if photosynthesis or maybe parts of the flower, if there are three worksheets for parts of the flower, then it is A, B, and C. So there is no other idea behind it. Because every worksheet, if you say the nomenclature, it will be based on the unit number. Okay, so as you see in the teacher's resource, you'll have unit 2.1. Likewise, it is in the learner's book. So how will you map it to the worksheet? So for exercise 2.1 or for topic 2.1, the worksheet is also 2.1. But if there are three worksheets for topic 2.1, it will be 2.1a, 2.1b, 2.1c. There is no question paper pattern. No, no. See, for Cambridge, it is completely different. You can design your own pattern if you want, based on what you want to assess. So you may have like, as I said, it's completely up to you for primary and lower secondary. So you may have content, certain elements, maybe 40%, 50%, 60% you're assessing on content, and then 40% can be on skills and scientific knowledge. Because here in the resources we have content, we have skills also. Science and context is not something that we assess. But yeah, skills and knowledge can be assessed. So you can have those parameters, and then you can have again your blueprint based on, how many for knowledge and understanding, how many for application, and how many for analysis. Creation, we don't assess at primary level in the exam. Okay, that will be again designing, that can be internally assessed through projects and stuff. But yeah, you can discuss around, as per your school needs and requirements and what you want to achieve. But this is just a broad outline that I'm giving you. Okay.
We have interdisciplinary approach in this Cambridge book. So we have incorporated max concepts, everything is there. But in the question paper, do we expect them to answer that as well, like drawing a bar graph like that? We cannot ask, no, ma'am,
No,
in
it is the
science.
part. See, again, certain elements of maths is a part of science, as I said earlier also. So the questions that are based on data. Now, data can be again in the form of your tally charts. It can be a form of a bar graph. It can be drawing of a line graph. All that is a part and parcel of science teaching, and it is a part of scientific skills. Recording of data, interpretation of data, reading of data, all that is a part of science teaching, and all your graphs will come there. So it is a part of science. It is not only
Assessment as
maths.
well. In
Yes.
assessment.
So the questions that are based in your learner's book and workbook, that is a part of assessment. Yes. So we are training them right in the beginning how to handle data. That is called as data handling. Okay. Anything else?
Future sessions, ma'am.
That, yeah, so we have feedback QR code that is sent to your head. So you may give your feedback, and if you want more session, Guru sir is always there, so you can tell your heads and they will contact Guru sir. Yeah, anything else? Thank you so much, Vitaka. Anything that we have to take? Is my laptop?
Oh.